Welcome to episode number 16 of the Ian Luebbers journey. Today I'm going to talk about the idea of seeing connections to your core discipline everywhere. And the best context, before I introduce the way that I'm experiencing this personally, the best context I can present for this idea is a book called The Art of Learning, that some of you watching this maybe have read. It's an absolutely stellar book. One of the books that's influenced me most, and it talks about the journey of the author Josh Waitzkin, who was a chess prodigy. He was amazing at chess when he was a child and grew up playing at the highest level. And then he got burned out and decided to pursue Tai Chi. And he started competing at a very high level in Tai Chi as well, and he found that he was able to progress extraordinarily quickly because of his ability to draw connections between chess and Tai Chi. Essentially, what chess had done more fundamentally than teach him how to play chess, it had taught him how to learn. And he could then apply that core skill set to another discipline, to the discipline of Tai Chi. And he realized that there are so many connections between seemingly disparate disciplines. I mean, chess and Tai Chi seem about as different as you can get. One's very physical, one's very intellectual. But he was able to draw very specific comparisons between the two. An example of this is the idea of chunking. The idea that in chess, as you learn, you internalize more and more of the board on a subconscious level, so you can just look at situations and intuitively grasp what's happening. As you know, you have this web in your head so that if you see one thing, you just connect it to this whole broader context. And similarly, in martial arts, this can happen when you are able to chunk and internalize entire moves or sequences or reactions. That's just one example of many. But the core idea is being able to apply ideas from disparate disciplines and essentially being able to see your craft in a completely different place than you expected. And this is what I want to talk about because it's something that's happening to me, and it's both exhilarating and deeply, deeply fascinating. So I consider my core craft at the moment to be marketing, to be influencing others in a specific way and understanding what makes humans tick and how to communicate with them in a way that produces a specific response. And lately I've been seeing everything, literally just about everything, in the context of marketing. Meaning when I see the name of a restaurant or when I see a billboard, well, I guess that's advertising, but not something I always connect to my core discipline, or the design of a building even. I'll tie it back, often unconsciously, sometimes very consciously, but regardless, with incredible frequency, to the context of marketing. I'll think about, what does this mean in the context of my broader skill? What is the specific measured behavioral response that this will provoke, or what are the various responses based on what I know about psychology? This happens all subconsciously. I don't typically go through a measured dissection of each process because that can be draining, but rather as soon as I see an image or a building, architecture is one of the coolest applications, asking, what psychological effect does this architecture or visual representation have? How does it pull somebody's attention along? What specific emotional response does it evoke? I've started to see all of these things, everything, even these words that I'm saying now in this video. Some part of my brain is churning on them and thinking about the specific responses that they'll produce. I've started to see absolutely everything in the context of psychology and this broader web of understanding that I have of copywriting, of attention, of human behavior, of my previous experience, of things I've read. I'm just developing this really, really fascinating intuitive web. And the coolest part, one of the coolest parts of it, is that I am starting to see connections to Irish dancing in very disparate ways, and I'll talk about this more in the future because it's really, really fascinating. But I've thought about things like the way that steps are composed in Irish dancing and the effect that they have on the viewer's attention, and things like the contrast between soft and loud, between sharp and smooth moves that you put into a step, and how those affect attention and the fluctuation of energy levels and all these different things that are also crucial pieces of marketing. And I'm going to explore this further, and certainly it'll be a topic of future videos. But for now, I want to present that kernel, that idea of how valuable it is to be able to look at everything from the context of one core discipline and draw comparisons, draw valuable comparisons, find similarities that bring value between seemingly disparate disciplines. It's incredibly exhilarating for me. If you've experienced this in any powerful way, definitely let me know in the comments. I love hearing examples of this, and I think I'll for sure talk about it more in the future.